Okay, in this section of the video we're going to talk about data destruction, which falls after our sorting processes. So if we've looked at the sorting process, we realize that we're going to bring in all of our data bearing devices into this cage, and this is where everything takes place. So devices that we typically destroy data is all-in-one PCs, laptops, cell phones, and typically they fall under two categories. So either we do a sanitization, which is a software method of erasing the hard drive. We also have a physical destruction, which we use our hydraulic press to destroy the drives. In this video we're going to talk about how we're going to do a sanitization using our proprietary software to erase the data. So here we've set up an example of a computer that we're going to connect and subsequently erase the data on it. So I'm going to connect the cables. So basically the way it works is we got switch up here with red Cat 5s, and these are what connects to the back of the PC. And back here is where we have a power supply so we can power the PC as well. And the whole trick here is to be able to boot this PC in PXE mode. Basically what we want to do is turn the PC on right in the beginning. Depending on the computer, sometimes it's an F12 command, sometimes it's an F8. Depending on what it is, we will go into the boot mode and try to boot it through the network card, which is the PXE boot. So here I'm just going to connect, starting with the power supplies. They're all connected in the back. So all we're going to do is just bring one out. And we're going to plug it in. Then we're going to take a red cable here, Cat 5, and plug it into the Ethernet port on the back of the computer that we're trying to erase. Now the only other thing left to do is, in order to PXE boot, we need a keyboard function here. So we're going to connect this keyboard here, which we use for this particular purpose. So it's just a USB connection. So typically all computers these days have a USB connection. So there's one on the side here. So I've connected the keyboard, I've connected the power supply, and I've also connected the Ethernet port onto the PC. So now we're going to power on this PC and try to PXE boot it. I know for a fact that this particular model is F12 command. So the screen is telling me F12 to boot menu. So now we should get a screen looking similar to this. And what you want to do is scroll down and pick the network card. Typically anything within a network connection will be your PXE boot setup. So we highlight this one and press enter. This could take us several minutes, probably about 5 minutes or so. So for the sake of this practice here, we've already got one into a PXE boot and has fully booted. And once this boots completely, we should get a screen that looks like that. At this point, we're ready to do a bunch of functions with this PC. So we can do a hardware diagnostic on it to determine whether or not this PC works and what parts function and don't function. Also things such as wiping as well. So what we're interested in doing with typically every PC that comes into this cage is a diagnostic first, and then subsequently we'll do a wipe after, depending on customers' requirements. And the way we control these machines is we have a console computer here, and this console computer is what's going to send the commands over to that for either a diagnostic or to do a wipe. So here's our console computer here, and the program we are going to use is called SDSC. And basically when we open up this program, we should be starting right at the database here, which doesn't look like much really. Just showing a bunch of our licenses, and we're not really interested in this. What we want to do here, once that's PXE booted, is we want to press that button there, which is a blue screen, and if you hover over it, it'll say remote desktop, and then you'll see that this particular computer is now being picked up in our device as a Vostro 320. What we want to do is double click this, and basically we're going to get the exact screen that we're looking at onto the computer we're trying to diagnostic or wipe. So in this particular model, we're going to do first a diagnostic. So and that the way we do that is we click the auto diagnostic. And we're typically not interested in pressing audit only because that doesn't do much other than turn the computer off or restart it. What we want to do is press audit with diagnostic, and that should do a full diagnostic on the computer. It will give us all the specifications that are required, and also if there's anything wrong with the hardware as well. In this practice, I'm not going to press this because we've already done a hardware diagnostic. And in the next video, I will show you what the reports look like for that particular model. Basically, once we've done the diagnostic, we're going to go back. There's a purple back button here we're going to press. And we'll just go all the way back to the main screen where we see the 4 buttons here. And the next stage is we're going to wipe the hard drive. And we're going to press that. And depending on our contract and our customers' requirements and prerequisites, we're going to choose either a wipe 1 pass, or it could be as much as a wipe 3 pass. And depending on what it is, we're going to do the appropriate wipe. And again, I'm not going to press this because we've already wiped the drive. But basically, you will press that, and we're looking at, for wipe 1, we're looking at anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes, and wipe 3 could be upwards of 4 hours.
Well, depending on the size of the hard drive.
And also depending on the size of the hard drive as well, yes. And that's basically concludes data sanitization and diagnostic through our console computer here.